Hello, good day. So for our SME 1101A, so this will be your Module 1 Introduction to Vehicle Design. So for this topic outline, so we're going to give the definition of terms, automotive industry, and the automotive industry of the Philippines, and what is an automotive engineering. So for our definition of terms, we know we already discussed this last time. So we have the word automotive. It means that it is a self-propelled. So from the word auto, it means automatic, and then motive, it means pwedeng motibo. But on this one, it talks about or came from the Latin word motivos. It means of motion. So that's why automotive means that we have what we called as automatic movement. Okay? Wait, wait lang. A vehicle means came from the word Latin vehiculum. It means it's a machine that transport people or cargo. Okay? Vehicles include wagons, bicycles, or any types of transportation that has a wheels. Okay? So, and also it includes rail vehicles such as trains and trams, watercrafts such as ships and boat, and also amphibious vehicles that can transport anything such as humans and cargoes from water and also on land, such as a screw-propelled vehicle or hovercraft, what we call. And also, we have the aircraft, such as airplanes and helicopters, and we have spacecraft or spaceships. So, land vehicles are classified broadly by what is used to apply steering and drive forces against the ground or friction, wheeled and track, railed, or sky. So ISO 3833-1977 is the standard also internationally used in legislation for road vehicle types, terms, and definition. So kindly take note of this one is what we have the ISO standard. So it means we must follow or align our manufacturing processing techniques and methodologies on these ISO standards. Next one is what we have the word car. It means that English word car is believed to originate from the word carus or carum. It means wheeled vehicle. That came from Old North French and also from the Middle English care or two-wheeled vehicle, the somehow bicycle or motorcycle. But originally, they do not have a motorcycle from that past or from that time. So they talk about somehow on a bicycle. So both of which in turn derive from Gaulish word or caros, meaning chariot. A vehicle must have a moving wheels as archaic. It means carriage or chariot. A vehicle designed to move on rails such as railroad, or a vehicle can be an individual vehicle powered or unpowered. So pwede kasing mag-ano lang yan slide lang. And also we have the automobile. So the moving load carrying component of an elevator or other cable drawn transport mechanism is also what we called as car. It means yung sinasakyan ninyo sa elevator ng FEO Alabang, that is called also a car. Okay? But sometimes it is called as cabin, but technicality-wise, we call them as elevator cars. The part of an airship or balloon that carries the passengers and cargo. So are you familiar with the hot air balloon and also airships? So the component that carrying people and cargos or that can transport is also called as car. The passenger carrying portion of certain amusement park rides such as Ferris wheel is also called as cars. Next one, we have the concept of automobile. A type of vehicle designed to move on the ground under its own stored power, depende kung electric man yan, or kung ano man yung type of source of energy niyan. A small number of additional passengers and a very limited amount of other load. So let's say for example, sa kotse natin, we can transport people depende sa capacity ng kotse and also we can transport some goods. So 'di ba kapag nag-grocery kayo and also let's say for example, medyo heavy duty such as pick up trucks ng mga kotse such as yung Tesla Cybertruck, Ford Raptor, Nissan Navara, ano yung sa Toyota? Hilux, ayun. And most models have four wheels, of course, but some have been built with three wheels. Automobiles are usually propelled by an internal combustion engines. On the physics or on the mechanical sides or in the concept of mechanical engineering, they will going to talk about a lot of topics on thermodynamics. And in application of that, they will going to discuss an external combustion engine and internal combustion engine. But on our subject, we will going to focus mainly on an internal combustion engine using a volatile inflammable liquids as gasoline or petrol or alcohol or naphtha and so on. And sometimes by steam engines. So kung medyo nakakapanood kayo sa YouTube, so hoping na since you are choosing this track, this journey in your mechanical engineering, so hoping you are somewhat curious what is an engine, type of an engine, type of gasoline, how the oil function, and very vital on a vehicle and so on. And sometimes the power of the driving motor varies from under 50 horsepower for earlier models to over 200 horsepower or larger models or high performance sports or racing cars. So sa mga susunod, we will going to talk about those units such as horsepower, what is a torque, and so on. An automobile is commonly called a car or an auto. And generally, in British usage, we call them as motor cars. In an automobile can be used as general classifying term. That is an inclusive of vehicles. So it means that pag sinabi nating automobiles, pinag-uusapan lahat ito. Okay? So, but if we were going to differentiate all of the automobiles, we can subdivide that into two. Is it a passenger vehicle or is it a goods vehicle? So, if we have a passenger vehicle, so we're going to categorize them whether is that a light vehicles or a heavy vehicles. On the light vehicles, it includes your cars or yung basic transportations natin such as autocycles or mopeds, scooters, motorcycles, yeah, yung mga jeepneys natin, station wagons, pickups, and most especially are the cars. Okay? But on a passenger vehicle, ito yung ginagamit sa mass transportation. And then kapag naman heavy vehicles, we had what we called as buses. So sa buses, may mga different types pa yan. So we have a single deck and also double deck. Kapag single deck, we have mini buses and syempre, yung mga big buses natin. On the side of a coaches, we have what we call as deluxe or air conditioned. I don't know if nakakita na kayo ng Toyota na I think Toyota Coaster yung model niya. Toyota Coaster, oh, tama. Toyota Coaster, that is a mini bus of a Toyota. And somehow, parang medyo luxurious na siya eh. And ginagamit siya ng mga medyo luxury na companies. Or kaya naman yung mga luxury na pamilya. Ayan. So, yun yung tatandaan ko kasing ano eh, na magfo-fall dito sa coaches. And then, next one. So, we have what we call goods vehicle or the vehicle or automobiles that can transport goods, materials, foods, and so on. And then, for that one, so we have light vehicles that compose of delivery van, light truck, and a tempo. For a tempo, they are composing of three-wheelers and also four-wheelers. For a goods vehicle, so we have heavy vehicles such as trucks, tractors, trailers, and also semi-truck, if you are familiar. Okay, so hoping that you are ready for our presentation on our next face-to-face classes. Next one, what is an automotive industry? Automotive industries are all those companies and activities. Take note of this one. All of the companies and activities involved in the manufacture of motor vehicles, including most components such as engines and bodies, but excluding tires, batteries, and fuels. Okay? So why do you think so na hindi kasama sa automotive industry ang paggawa ng gulong, ng batteries, at paggawa ng gasolina? So, I will going to look for your answer once we're going to have our face-to-face classes. The industry's principal products are passenger automobiles and light trucks, including pickup vans and sport utility vehicles. Commercial vehicles such as delivery trucks and large transport trucks, often called as semis. Pwedeng semis, but most of the time I heard they call that as semis. Semi truck, ganun. Though important to the industry are secondary kasi mainly focus ang automotive industries talaga sa sa mga cars talaga eh. Kasi kapag naman, usually ang companies na nagpo-produce ng mga trucks, they are somehow may karugtong silang heavy industry. Let's say for example, kapag ang Toyota gumawa ng trucks, they have what we call as Toyota Heavy Industries. So if we are familiar with some brands of the trucks such as Isuzu. Ayan, that's why ang Isuzu talaga, focus talaga sila sa mga trucks eh. Na-observe nyo ba? Yan, ang Isuzu, may F sila, may mga semis, may mga heavy trucks, may mga 10-wheelers, 8-wheelers, 4-wheelers, at kakaunti lang yung kotse nila. Na-observe nyo ba? Ang kotse lang nila, if hindi ako nagkakamali, if you are familiar with the MUX and D-Max, D-Max is yung parang Fortuner. And then yung MUX ay yung baligtad pala, sorry. Yung D-Max ay yung pickup. And then yung MUX ay yung passenger type nila, yung MPV or SUV type. Next one. So for the history of automotive industry, it begins in the 1860s with hundreds of manufacturers that pioneered the horseless carriage. Diba? As we define the word car, it came from the word chariot or charus or caros. Tama? So it means that through development of technology, unti-unti na nilang tinanggal yung kabayo doon sa cabin or sa car. For many years, in the United States, led the world in total automobile production. In 1929, before the Great Depression, the world had 32,028,500 automobiles in use. And the US automobile industry produced over 90% of them. So imagine yung automotive leading country talaga is the US. Had one car per 4.87 persons based on that statistics or computations. So imagine, on every family, meron silang at least one car. Okay? Eh, yung iba pa dyan, pag medyo yung family ay medyo lumalaki na. Let's say, for example, working yung nanay at tatay mo, may tag-isang kotse pa yan. Tapos yung anak mo pumapasok, may kotse din yan. Okay? After the 1945, the US produced 75% the world's auto production. But in 1980, the US was overtaken by Japan and became world's leader again in 1994. In 2006, Japan narrowly passed the US in production and held this rank until 2009 when, medyo bago-bago lang to, no? When China took the top spot with 13.8 million units with 19.3 million units manufactured in 2012. China almost doubled the US production of 10.3 million units, while Japan was in third place with 9.9 million units from 1970 of 140 models. Hindi ito yung units na nabenta. Ito yung brands and models. Over 1998, 260 models to 2012, 684 models. The number of automobile models in the US has grown exponentially. Okay? Eto mga models na to, combine na to sa lahat ng brands ha. So let's say for example, kung sa US, we have the General Motors, the Ford, yun yung mga kilala sa US eh. Ayan. So are you familiar with the Fiat? Fiat brand. Ayan, most na nakita ko ngayon, kung di ako nagkakamali sa Fiat ay nasa motor yata sila, 'no? Ayan, kasi sa kotse medyo ano na sila, eh, nasa luxury side sila, pero hindi sila nasa sports category. Yan, parang mga kahilera ng Mercedes-Benz, ayan, Cadillac, ayun, nandun sila, nasa hilera sila nun. Fiat Automobiles is the largest automobile manufacturer in Italy. During its more than century-long history, it remained the largest automobile manufacturer in Europe and third in the world after General Motors and Ford for over 20 years until the car industry crisis in the late 1980s. Based on these statistics on the 2018, so top 20 motor vehicle producing countries. So, syempre, China. Ayan, because of the cheap labor cost in China. And also, next one, United States, Japan, and also the India. And then, next one, yung mga European brand na. And hindi lang ako masyado familiar sa Mexico. Ayan, South Korea, medyo familiar pa yung mga brands sila. Mamaya pag-usapan natin yan. And also, we have Brazil, Spain, France, Thailand, Canada, Russia, United Kingdom, and the list follows. And based on the brands by manufacturer, this is the list of 15 largest manufacturers by production volume in 2017 according to the OICA. Siyempre, nangunguna, Toyota. Okay? With the units of 10.4 million. And then, next one is a Volkswagen Group. Hindi lang yung basta Volkswagen brand ha. Yung mismong Volkswagen Group of companies. Mamaya, i-discuss din natin yung different types ng brands under the Volkswagen and those different brands. And then next one, we have Hyundai from South Korea, General Motors and Ford from United States. And then next one, we have the Japanese brand, Nissan and Honda. And number 8, we have a Fiat Chrysler. Yon. So, alam ko merong Fiat Chrysler dito sa Alabang. Nasa bandang palabas yata ng Alabang. Nando sa Hilera doon. And then, next one, we have Renault, PSA, Suzuki, SAIC, Daimler, BMW, and next one is the Geely brand. Okay? We have what we call as the big three automobile manufacturers per country of origin. In the automotive industry, the big three refers to countries' three largest automobile manufacturers. So let's say, for example, that came from the European brand France. Their big threes are the Renault, Peugeot, and the Citroën. Citroën. Although, both Peugeot and Citroën are part of the PSA Group, which also owns by Opel and Vauxhall. So, it means, etong tatlong to, I will going to send a documentary. Ito kasi napanood ko nung nakaraan eh. Ang Nissan daw nun is pabagsak na. Yung Nissan. But, with the help of the Renault company, so nag-strive ulit yung Nissan. And then, wait lang. Alright, so let's continue. And then for our another European brand in Germany, so we have big three. So we have Audi, that composed of Volkswagen, and also the Mercedes Benz, that unders the Daimler AG, and also the BMW. And also the leading country in automotive, Japan, so we have the Toyota, Nissan, and Honda. For the United States, the big three are the General Motors, Ford, and Fiat Chrysler. Okay, for the South Korea's big three, we have, syempre, medyo kalala natin, we have the Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis. Although Hyundai owns 33% of Kia. That's why yung ma-observe nyo, yung mga bagong labas ng Hyundai at Kia somehow similar. Medyo magkamuka. Pag in-observe mo yung ano, yung taillight nila, let's say for example, yung Santa Fe, yung Stargazer, tas sa Kia, basta observe mo yung kulay nila, yung shade ng especially sa white ko sila na-observe eh. Pag in-observe mo yung pagka-white ng ano nila, nung pintura, almost the same. Pero pati yung sa taillight, yung structure ng taillight, tapos yung patterns ng taillight, syempre magkakaiba yung shapes nila. Ma-observe nyo na parehas. They share the same characteristics. Ayun. So that's why may ganong instances. And then, next one, the former Italy's big three were Fiat, Lancia, and Alfa Romeo. Fiat eventually bought the other two major brands and are formed the Fiat Group, which is now part of the FCA. Italy's big three can also refer to the Emilian brands such as the Ferrari, Maserati, and the Lamborghini in the supercars and luxury segments. Alliance of automotive manufacturers. The Auto Alliance is a defunct trade group of automotive manufacturers that operated in the US. It was the leading advocacy group for the auto industry, representing the 77% of all car and light truck sales in the United States. The Auto Alliance was active in the areas of environment, energy, and motor vehicle safety. In 2019, the alliance was merged with the Association of Global Automakers to form the Alliance for Automotive Innovations. So I will going to leave you these questions. Bakit kaya sila nag-form ng alliance? So I will going to look for your answers once we resume classes or if we meet. So in one picture, we can see most of the car brands. Ayan. So, eto, medyo updated na to, ha? So, let's say, for example, for the Stellantis groups, they have the Fiat, Opel, the Jeep, and the Ram, and also the Dodge. And for the Honda, they have the Honda also, of course, and also the Acura. Mazda, South Korean, standalone sila. The Mercedes-Benz Group, they have the Mercedes-Benz and also the Smart. For the Ford, they have also the Lincoln. And for the Geely, Chinese brand, they have the Geely and the other brands. And for the Toyota, if you are familiar with some of the Toyota brands, Toyota itself and also the Lexus, ito yung ano parang Toyota siya pero mamahaling Toyota. Ayan. Sino ba dito sa inyo yung may mga Lexus na brand? So, yung mga family car, ayun. Daihatsu, if you are familiar also. Parang medyo nasa locos yata sila yung Daihatsu. Yan, Volkswagen Group. So, they have the Volkswagen, the Bugatti, the Ferrari, the Lamborghini, the Audi. And Dongfeng, Chinese. And then also the SAIC, they have the MG and also the Maxus. Ayan, medyo nakikita ko tong ibang brand at sa kalsada. Fo, GWM, Changan, if you are familiar, Chinese brand. Medyo bago lang to sa Pilipinas. Ayan. Yung isang brand nila, mukhang kaparehas nun sa Lexus. Pagkakamalang mong mamaya Lexus, pero hindi pala, no? Chinese brand pala. Yeah, next one, we have the General Motors from the US. So, they have the brands of Chevrolet, GMC, Cadillac, and from the Chery. Ayan, and if you're familiar with the Chery, they also have the Curry, Exceed, and also the Jet Tour. Are you familiar with the Jet Tour? Medyo bago lang din sila sa Philippines. We have also the Xiaomi, but they are focusing more on electric vehicle. And also another luxury, we have the Aston Martin, SGMW, BYD. Are you familiar with BYD? That's why medyo nagtatap ang China sa sa car manufacturing because of the BYD. Ang focus naman nito electric vehicles. Ayan, ito na yung sinasabi natin na Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi Alliance. So we have the Mitsubishi, Alpine, Infiniti, Nissan itself, and also the Renault. Ayun. For the Hyundai, so we have the Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis. Tesla, of course, focusing on electric vehicle. Li Motor, the Ferrari. Ito yung Ferrari under to na ibang brand hindi naman literally under, pero they are managed and also shares the stocks. And Xpeng, Li Auto, Neo, and Human Horizons. So, these are all and most of the car brands in the world. Next one, automotive challenges. The 2008 global crisis. So, parang pinapanganak pa lang yata kayo dito. 1 year old, 2 years old, nagingipin pa lang. Ayan. So, ano kaya meron ng 2008? So, can we ask our parents, ano ba nangyari ng 2008? Ayan. So, let's watch this video first.
In the world of finance, we're often quick to forget the tragedies of the past, yet valuable lessons are to be had by exploring their causes and effects. After all, in a world of ever-changing rules, products, and services, history is the one constant that can guide us through the ambiguity. So let's take a 5-minute history lesson on today's Plain Bagel. It's the early 2000s, and investors are looking for new, safe sources of return. Stocks and bonds are still pretty popular, but the tech bubble at the turn of the century showed them that getting your money back from bankrupt firms can be a bit difficult. But what about mortgages? That's right, mortgages, the loan you take out when you want to buy a home. After all, for mortgage lenders, these loans are a lot like bonds with bonuses. You receive regular interest payments, and if the borrower defaults, you get possession of their house, which is a handy fallback because with real estate prices on the rise, recovering your losses is no problem. But investors don't want to buy the individual mortgages of Kate, Sue, and Bill down the road. No, my friend, that's where investment banks come in. These institutions, with their large capital and industry expertise, decide to buy up mountains of mortgages from lenders, pool them together, and then sell shares of the pool to investors as mortgage-backed securities, meaning that home buyers now pay investors their mortgage payments. Ain't that nifty? Investors sure think so, and soon enough people are flocking to investment banks to buy up their securities. And it's not just banks doing this. The government, in an attempt to boost mortgage lending, is using the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, two sponsored corporations, to do the same thing. Soon enough, lenders are facing a seemingly endless demand for their mortgages, which they're more than happy to part with. Because every time they sell the rights to their interest payments, they get their money back, which they can loan out again. So mortgage lending and home buying kick into hyperdrive, and investors are getting pretty rich in the process. But other companies, seeing the gravy train running full speed in the investment space, are feeling left out. And insurers, wanting to cash in too, begin to sell credit default swaps, derivatives that pay out if a mortgage borrower defaults. It looks like a foolproof way of making money. In fact, why stop at just one policy per property when there are speculators interested in buying them too? Sure, selling 10 policies on the same mortgage may seem excessive and dangerous, but so long as we don't experience a collapse in the real estate market, it's free money. Soon enough, the amount of credit insured jumps from $900 billion to over $62 trillion. And while we probably don't have enough money to cover that, so long as things keep trucking along, insurers are making bank. And all is right in the world, with rising housing supporting this great supply chain that we've created. Or at least that's what's supposed to be happening. But something's changing. Because lenders are selling their loans, they've lost all incentive to avoid risk. And with such a high demand for their mortgages, they're starting to give loans to borrowers with bad credit scores and low income. And hold on a sec. Some of those subprime loans are predatory. Don't be fooled, borrower. That may look like a low interest mortgage, but it's chock full of terrible conditions. But the subprime borrowers don't seem to notice the fine print. And soon enough, everyone is buying a home, despite some having no possible way of paying off their mortgage. And investment banks are still gobbling up whatever the lenders are throwing at them, meaning that these ticking time bombs are making their way into the MBSs owned by investors. But that's not all. Investment banks are selling collateralized debt obligations similar to the MBS but riskier, and claiming that they're virtually risk-free, even as they fill up with these toxic assets. But that's not all again. Despite there only being so many mortgages to invest in, people are using complex derivative investments like synthetic CDOs to bet even more on whether people will make the mortgage payments, which in case you haven't noticed, is becoming less likely. Now, surely the rating agencies will notice the heightened default risk and let investors know, hey, by the way, your holdings are full of crap. But wait, are you kidding? AAA safety rating? Well, everyone, we've done it. We now have a system where lenders don't care about whether mortgage payments are made, investment bankers don't care about risk, and the rating agencies, designed for the people but paid for by the banks, don't care about investors. And for a while, this web of liability and risk holds firm, but it's only a matter of time before the subprime borrowers start to default. And by October 2007, 3% of all US home loans are in the foreclosure process, with another 7% 1 month past due. Mortgage investments are starting to turn into real estate, and investment banks are flooding the market with foreclosed homes. Soon enough, supply is starting to outpace demand, and in 2008, housing prices do something that nobody prepared for. They start to free fall. And so begins the domino effect that was the 2008 financial crisis. Finance companies involved in the real estate game take a hit. And despite 75% of CDOs receiving the highest safety rating, 70% of them default. Investment banks, seeing the carnage they've caused, stop buying mortgages from lenders, and the insurers find themselves facing impossible payouts. Banks, lenders, and insurers start to shut down. And despite the government trying to save the largest players from the brink of destruction, on September 15th, we see the largest bankruptcy in US history, as Lehman Brothers, an investment bank with $600 billion in assets, goes under. At this point, anyone with money to spare pulls it out of the markets and places it into treasury bonds, which leads the Dow Jones to lose a third of its value. And companies relying on loans to operate suddenly lose access to vital financing. Countries with ties to the US are caught up in the disaster too. And by 2009, the global economic engine stalls. 2 million American jobs would be lost in the last 4 months of 2008 alone. And while the recession would technically end in June 2009, the impact of the crisis would be felt for long afterwards. And the kicker to it all, despite financial institutions causing the whole disaster, they received the most money from the government's rescue attempts. While the Dodd-Frank Act would be introduced in 2010 to crack down on the lending practices of financial institutions, one would hope that we never again need regulation to remind us that greed should never trump common sense and decency.
Alright.
In the world of
Nagets ba ang ating video presentation? So, you can rewatch that video presentation on our supplementary materials. Okay? So, in short, ano ba nangyari ng 2008 crisis? Okay. Ayan, in short, naghirap ang mundo. Ayan, naghirap siya because of debt. Debt. Utang. Ayan. Utang na lumaki. Ayan. So, if you know on how bank works and also insurance work and also how banks offer debt or paano sila nagpapautang, magugulat na lang kayo. Wala, paano siya naging legal? Kasi parang kang nagpapautang ng pera na out of nothing. And also, central banks ay gumagawa ng pera out of nothing. And also, that is connected with the concept of inflation. Ayan, so kapag medyo nasa managements kayo in the future in automotive industries, you need to understand how the sales works and how economics work in automotive industry. No? Okay, balik tayo dito. Anong connection niya sa automotive industries? So since ang konsepto niya ay ang konsepto ng economics ay gumagana through the concept of loans. Pag mas maraming naglo-loan, syempre, nag-i-increase ang debts. Syempre, kumikita ang bansa. Kumikita ang bangko. Kumikita ang bansa. Lumalago ang economics. Ang kaso mo, dumami na dumami ang utang, hindi nakapagbayad. So, ngayon, nagkaroon ng recession na tinatawag natin. So, therefore, widespread siya and lahat ng industry ay apektado, including the automotive industry. Okay? So, that's why, following dramatic drops in automobile sales throughout 2008, that two of the big three of the US automakers, GM and Chrysler, requested an emergency loans in order to address impending cash shortages. By 2009, the situation has worsened such that GM and Chrysler will face imminent bankruptcy and liquidation, with the intent to prevent massive job losses and destabilizing damage to the entire manufacturing sector. The US and Canadian governments provided unprecedented financial bailout, $85 billion, to support to allow the companies to restructure and jettison legacy debt via Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Both companies separately filed for this protection by June 1. So it means that palugi na yung company. So the government mitigates. So ngayon, nagpautang sila, presidential financial bailout. So ngayon, nakaka-recover ang company. Okay? Yun. Alright? But yes, it corresponds also to the concept of inflation. Okay? So therefore, pag nag-provide ng money out of nothing, ang central bank, either kahit anong bansa man yan, is tataas ang inflation rate. So therefore, pag tumaas ang inflation rate, madami yung pera sa circulations, nagtataas din yung bilihin. Tumataas din yung cost. Labor cost, professional, processing cost, manufacturing cost, and therefore, that will be shouldered by the consumers. Okay? General Motors emerged from bankruptcy as a new company majority owned by the US Treasury. Ibig sabihin, pagmamayari siya na siya ng gobyerno at this time. And Chrysler emerged owned primarily by US, a United Auto Workers Union by the Italian automaker Fiat. So that's why nakakombine na yung Fiat Chrysler sa buong pangalan ng Fiat Chrysler. Both companies terminated agreements with hundreds of their dealerships, and GM discontinued several of its brands as part of bankruptcy proceedings. Ford Motor Company was able to survive without entering bankruptcy partly due to a large line of credit which it obtained in 2007. So, medyo mayaman-yaman pa yung Ford dito. Kaya somehow, dumating siguro yung deficit, pero hindi sila nalugi. The US automakers were more heavily affected by the crisis than the foreign counterparts, such as Toyota. Following the 2000s energy crisis, the US automakers failed to produce more fuel-efficient vehicles, as opposed to the high-profit sport utility vehicles that were popular in the late 1990s and early 2000s, which led to excess inventory and desirable products. Di ba, as you can observe, the history or the patterns, ito nga, between 1990s to 2000, dito na nauso yung Nissan Skyline, yung mga Toyota, yung mga Mazda, ng mga super sports car. And also, that time, dyan din lumabas yung movie na Fast and the Furious. So, yun yung medyo naging inspiration ng sa movie na yan. Kasi, most of the sports car ay lumabas that time. Yan, yung mga super sports car talaga. So, that's why as you can observe on the documentaries, most of the peoples own a sports car at that time. Ayan. So, that's why yung mga medyo nakakaano natin, medyo, tawag doon, medyo nakakatanda na sa atin. Yan, mga tatay natin, yung ibang lolo siguro, kita niyo yung ano nila, yung passion nila dun sa sasakyan. Paano nila alagaan and so on. Kasi at some chapter of their life, cars are become part of their life. Parang parte ba ng pagkatao nila yung kotse? And also their identity. Kasi pag ano yan, pag may sports car ka dati, uy, ang galing, maangas, may sports car. Ayan. Although medyo sports car dati, ay medyo hindi pa naman ganun talaga kahamahalan. Pero since ang konsepto ng sports car ay sports car. So therefore, mabilis siya. In equivalence to that, mataas din ang fuel consumption. Okay? So that's why, eto siya. Eto yung problema ngayon dito. So sports car, mataas ang fuel consumption, hindi siya desirable product to have a concept of sustainability. Since the automotive crisis abated, all three American automakers have increased sales of vehicles and have posted of profits. Okay? As of 2012, the industry has recovered to some extent. GM had 2011 sales of more than 9 million vehicles, more than Toyota. According to a May 2011 report by the White House National Economic Council, however, the US government may have to write about 14 billion of its 80 billion loan. Imagine, naglo-loan ka sa sarili mo. Ayan. So, yun yung sinasabi natin na central banks are creating money out of nothing, out of thin air. Yeah. So, that's why nagkakaroon ka ng loan galing sa wala. Pero kailangan mong bayaran yun. Okay. By 2012, polls from the Pew Research Center and Quinnipiac University Polling Institute show that the American public now believes that the bailouts have been helpful for the American economy. So, yun nga. So, somehow, syempre, para siyang emergency funds, that we are creating money out of nothing, but somehow it will going to help to survive a certain industries of the country. So, therefore, pag nag-survive tong industry na to, magsasurvive din ang economy ng isang bansa. Okay? Yung nga lang, may utang ka sa sarili mo. Okay? So, that's how central bank works and also the concept of loan. Next one, automotive industry of the Philippines. The Philippine automotive manufacturing industry covers the assembly, importation, distribution, rebuilding of motor vehicles, and the manufacturing of automotive parts, components. It consists of highly diverse sectors such as, syempre, metal, electrical, plastic, rubber, and composite materials. It is also characterized by heterogeneous firms with a few large foreign-owned and modern firms such as Toyota, Mitsubishi, Honda, Nissan, and Isuzu, operating side by side with many small underdeveloped firms. So parang ano lang naman yan eh. Ang konsepto kasi ng manufacturing, yung kada parts kukunin mo sa manufacturer nun. Tapos, ikaw magbubuo. Para kang ano, magbubuo ng Lego. Kasi for example, yung gulong, bibilin mo sa Michelin, bibilin mo sa Dunlop. Tapos, yung electronics, bibilin mo sa electronics company. Yung computer, bibilin mo dito. Yung ECU, bibilin mo dito. Yung coolant, bibilin mo sa air conditioning company. So, yung glass, bibilin mo doon. Yung metal, bibilin mo sa mining industries. Tapos, bubuuin mo. Ayun, automotive. Okay? The industry players are serviced by the following association. On the Philippines, we have the PAFI, Philippine Automotive Federation Incorporated, the industry's largest umbrella organization and recognized as the industry's voice in international forums such as the ASEAN Automotive Federation and the APEC Auto Dialogue. Next one, we have the CAMPI, Chamber of Automotive Manufacturers in the Philippines, whose members include a core of manufacturers and second-tier importers, distributors. The Philippine Automotive Competitiveness Council, Incorporated, PACI, composed of 4 brands whose domestic operation account for 90% of vehicles manufactured in the Philippines. And the last one is we have the MVP map, Motor Vehicle Parts Manufacturers Association of the Philippines. Mostly itong mga to, syempre nasa NCR. And if medyo maliligaw kayo sa Santa Rosa, Laguna. Ayan, kahit on some parts of Laguna, ang daming ano diyan, ang daming manufacturing companies or assembling companies ng mga sasakyan, pati motorcycles eh. Kasi nandiyan ang KTM, nandiyan ang Husqvarna, syempre yung Toyota nandiyan din, Nissan, ayan, nasa bandang Laguna. There are currently 15 vehicle manufacturing with operating plants in the country. So, yun na nga, yung Toyota, may planta sila dyan, 7 of which are equipped with electro-deposition painting systems. There are total of 272 parts and components manufacturer in the country. Ibig sabihin, sila mismo yung gumagawa ng mga piyesa. The industry has an annual capacity of 250,000 units. All vehicle types included, produced by plants rated as compliant with global standards and certified by the International Standards Organization or what we call as the ISO standards. In 2011, the automotive industries generated production valued at 368 billion, equal to 4% share in GDP. And in 2013, the industry estimates that it has directly employed 8,000 workers in automotive manufacturing, whereas approximately it produced 68,000 jobs have been generated in auto parts manufacturing. An estimated of 340,000 are employed in auto supporting industries. Imagine kung gaano kalaki ang automotive industries at kung gaano kalaki yung tulong niya sa bansa, sa economy. So imagine 8,000 workers, 68,000 jobs sa paggawa ng auto parts, and 340,000 employed sa auto supporting industries. Ibig sabihin, nandiyan na yung syempre, mga mekaniko, yung mga oldies na talyer, kasama yan dyan. Yung mga dealership, kasama rin niya eh. Kasi they are part of auto supporting industries, yung mga nasa sales. And syempre, yung mga locals na nagbebenta ng piyesa. Somehow, kasama din dyan yung ano eh, mga other services. Auto part mechanic services, yung auto aircon, ayan, yung mga paintings, yun, kasama yung lahat dyan. Among the industry strengths are strong industrial linkages. Well-structured and with its network of production facilities, the automotive industries is one of the key drivers of the Philippine economy. Allied supporting industries encourage strong backwards linkages such as capital-intensive production and testing equipment, machinery and equipment, dies and molds. In dies and molds, yun yung mga hulmahan na metal stamping, die casting, and machining. Moreover, forward linkages in the forms of dealership make a seamless flow of goods and services in the industry by performing the main marketing and sales function, car financing and insurances, and after sales services. So those are some of the industry's strengths and key points. Imagine, again, main marketing, sales function, car financing, ito yung mas mayaman. Ito yung mayaman eh. So yung mga car financing tsaka insurance eh. Yung insurance, di ko alam kung nagagamit pa. Yung mayaman lang ang mga insurance doon. No? Ayan. And also the after sales or aftermarket sales services. Ayan, yung mga repair, yung maintenance or tinatawag natin PMS or preventive maintenance services. And then, next one, we have the comparative advantages. Philippines has comparative advantage in a number of products like the ignition, or other wiring sets of vehicles such as radio receivers, external power, lead acid brake accumulators, brake system parts, transmissions, for motor vehicle, pneumatic tires, for motor cars, and other part components. And presence of global automotive brands. With the presence of global automotive brands together with the abundant supply of highly skilled and technical manpower, so soon in the future, kasama kayo dyan. The quality of final goods and services produced by the automotive industry is at par with regional and global standards. As a result, the country is currently enjoying the stable automotive parts and components exports and is favorable destination for future investments. So, 'di ba, as we can observe, hindi mahirap maghanap ng piyesa. Okay? Hindi mahirap maghanap ng wires, ng parts na kailangan mo or ng services na kailangan mo. As long as yung kotse mo ay nasa present or nasa range ng time scale ng kotse. Baka kasi mamaya, in short idea, ganito siya. Let's say for example, Vios. Sikat siya ngayon. Napakaraming sedan yan ngayon. So, therefore, napakaraming available na piyesa niyan. But, kapag yung kotse ninyo ay yung mga classic cars, ito yung konsepto na nahihirapan na kayo maghanap ng parts or ng piyesa. At napakamahal. And also, yung mga bagong kotse nakakalabas pa lang, mahirap din yung parts. So, it means that past, present, and also future. Kapag yung kotse nyo, again, ay nasa present time scale or timetable ng isang automotive industries, hindi kayo mahirapan ng parts and services. Pag nasa past o luma yung kotse ninyo, expect na mahirap maghanap ng parts, pwedeng mura, mahirap na mahanapin. Kung mahirap siya hanapin, it means mahal din. Yung services nun, yung mekaniko nun, pwedeng marunong yung mga present mechanics, pero yung mga specialized on those specific cars ay mahirap din. And kapag bago naman yung kotse mo or sasakyan mo, mahirap maghanap lalo ng parts kasi hindi pa napoproduce or kakaunti pa lang yung dealers noong piyesa na yun. And also the services ay somehow pwedeng hindi pa trained yung mga mechanics doon. Okay? The industry's current development plans call for the simultaneous and coordinated growth of both the vehicle assemblers and parts manufacturers. Kasi 'di ba sabi ko naman sa inyo, ang konsepto ng sasakyan is para kang naglalego, naglalaro ka ng Lego, binubuo mo siya. Pero yung gagamitin mong components and parts doon ay galing sa kung saan-saan. Okay, kung kani-kaninong specialized manufacturers ng specific na piyesa niyon. The strategy entails a cost-competitive solution where the increase in assembly volumes can yield economies of scale and more affordable pricing along the entire supply chain. From resource-based raw materials to the car in the showroom, such a scenario will generate ample and quality employment opportunities from the major brands all the way to small and medium scale enterprises. So those are some on the concepts of the automotive. And its objective is to generate an additional 41 billion peso in investments, 151 additional production in related sectors, and to create 70,000 new jobs and resume export operations. So it means that tayo na maglalabas sa ibang bansa. Okay? Kasi meron tayong planta. We have enough supply chain of materials or auto parts, and also we have the enough numbers of highly and skilled technical professionals or experts such as skilled mechanic. And then, currently, the Philippine domestic auto parts industry is composed of 256 companies producing around 330 different parts and components. With four Japanese automakers operating the country, the industry represents some growing agglomeration economies in the Laguna and Cavite area. Okay? So that's why medyo dito focus talaga yung yung automotive industry. Yan. Nasa Laguna at Cavite yung manufacturing. And then lahat ng offices, lahat ng legalities in terms of marketing, management, and sales ay nasa NCR syempre. Okay? The Philippine Auto Parts, ayan. So, we have now the auto parts. As a product, automotive is a complex with large numbers of parts and components, such as textiles, glass, plastics, especially electronics, rubber, steel, and other metals, involving different production processes. The promotion of automotive industry can lead to an expansion of many complementary investment. Okay? Kasi 'di ba, sabi ko naman sa inyo, kapag meron tayong isang services, meron diyang uusbong na another services na complementary doon. Okay? Let's say for example, a school. For a school to be operate, syempre given na kailangan ng teachers, ng principals, ng administration, kailangan ng staff, pero yung outside of the school, ano yung kailangan? Kailangan ng transportation. Kailangan ng school supplies. Kailangan ng stores. Pambaon nyo, bigyan nyo baon. Okay? So imagine. So it corresponds to its services. So it means that uh, since meron tayong automotive industries, so kailangan din natin ng auto parts industries. Kailangan natin na nagmamanufacture ng gulong, ng rims, ng mga tools, power tools. Kailangan din natin ng mga nagmamanufacture ng mga plastics, ng electronic parts. Ayan, lahat yan. Okay? Because the automotive industries is a highly global industry, technology driven, and competition is intense among its players. Currently, the Philippine domestic auto parts industries is composed of 256 companies producing around 330 different parts and components. With four Japanese, ayun na pala, sorry. The Philippine auto parts sectors has continued to post respectable growth and contribute significantly to manufacturing value added of 3% and employment generation of at least 5%. In economic side, in countryside, in the side of a country, yung 5% na yun ay napakalaki. Okay? So that's why it employed 50,858 workers, generated value added of 28 billion investments amounting to 5 billion. In 2010, auto parts exports reached 3.3 billion, which represents almost 7% of total Philippine exports and export growth of 27%. Etong mga small numbers na yan, pag pinag-usapan natin ang isang bansa, ang isang economy ng bansa, yung 7% na yan ay hindi yan biro. Kasi yung pinag-usapan natin dito, a billion words of dollars, a trillion, and also a billion words of peso. Okay? The auto parts industries has also remained a net exporter with the balance of trade surpluses of 3 billion in 2006 and 2.7 billion in 2010. The Philippines has a comparative advantage in a number of products like the ignition, other wiring sets for the vehicles, radio receiver, external power, the batteries, accumulators, brake system parts, transmission for motor vehicles, pneumatic tires for motor cars, and other parts and components. Next one. So we have the some of the standards or the laws or some regulations. For this one, so we have the comprehensive automotive resurgence strategies or the from the Executive Order 182. The comprehensive or the CARS program is being implemented in order to attract new investments, stipulate demand, and effectively implement industry regulations that will revitalize the Philippine industry, automotive industry, and develop the country as a regional automotive manufacturing hub in Asia Pacific or in the world. Okay? On this one, so that's why, di ba, medyo na-observe nyo, ang daming pumapasok na mga other car brands dito ngayon sa Pilipinas, especially Chinese brand. Yan, yun nga, yung nauna na yung dati, medyo matagal-tagal na yung yung Photon sa Pilipinas. Pero, they are Chinese brands. Eto, medyo bago-bago lang, yung Geely, tsaka yung Changan, yung Jetour, yan, yung BYD kasi electric eh. So, yan, marami na pumapasok, no? Somehow kasi kapag sinabi nating European tsaka American brands, kapag may bagong pumasok, laging mahal yan eh. Expect na yan. So that's why yung medyo pangmasa talaga pag may pumasok na Chinese brands. Yung competition talaga nila doon, pasok doon sa sa target market eh. Restructured motor vehicle, oops, development program or executive order 156 ban the importation of all types of used motor vehicles and parts and components except those that may be allowed under certain conditions. So that's why yung mga surplus, 'di ba? Familiar tayo na 'di ba? Ang term dati sa Pilipinas ay tapunan ng surplus. Yan, surplus na TV. Kaya nga 'di ba napakaraming Japan surplus. Pero nakaban ang pag-import ng mga sasakyan. Okay? Pero under certain conditions. That's why ito medyo umuusbong ngayon sa Pilipinas. Are we familiar with the Suzuki Every Wagon? Yung parang maliit na na van na square na cute. Ayun. So, hindi siya brand new car. They are a surplus cars that came from Japan. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, mga luma silang kotse na dinadala lang sa Pilipinas. Yan, parang yun lang yata yung nakita kong ano eh, used cars na binibenta ngayon sa Pilipinas. Yan, kasi mura eh. Parang ano lang yata, 660cc lang yun ano niya, displacement. So, good for isa or dalawang tao, tas konting cargos. Yun. Tas dadalhin yan dito, lang naka-chop-chop. Yan, naka-chop yung kalahati, yung chassis, yung frame, tas dito na lang bubuuin sa Pilipinas ng mga local mechanics natin. Kasi wala talaga silang ano eh, wala talaga silang tawag doon? Specific na car manufacturers kasi nga surplus sila. Okay? Restructure the most favored nation tariff rates for motor vehicles and their raw materials and parts and components as such rates that will encourage the development of the industry. Restructure the current excise tax more for motor vehicles and the end view of creating a simple, fair, and stable tax structure. Continue the application of ICO scheme as may be adopted by ASEAN consisted with the implementation of the ASEAN CEPT. Grant incentives to assemblers and parts and components makers for the exports of CBUs and parts and components. And also, additionally, creates a motor vehicle industry development council to oversee, coordinate, and align all government policies and programs, rules, and regulation related to motor vehicle industries. Ito medyo latest. Originally, ang Tesla Cybertruck, if we are familiar with that model ng Tesla, pick-up truck siya ng Tesla Cybertruck. Originally, original model niya ay wala siyang side mirror. Pero, nung dinala siya dito sa Pilipinas, kung makikita mo siya, may side mirror na siya. Ang tsaka nung Cybertruck na ano, may side mirror. Para siyang ano, yung aso na may flaps yung tenga. Kaya ganun. Provides for granting of exports incentives, support to measure to encourage greater participation, diversification of exports, and capacity utilization of parts manufacturing and auto support industries. And it also strengthens the used vehicle importation prohibition under EO 156. Next one, the Industry Development Program. The Automotive Industry Technical Working Group, TWG, conducts meeting to discuss and address industry's concern and issues. This includes the implementation of non-fiscal measures, especially on the importation of used vehicles and need for a more productive fiscal package that can help local manufacturers to become more competitive in the ASEAN economic community. On the GDP contribution, government recognizes the auto industry's economic contribution. He said, Hijr idea noted industries has fueled economic growth further its output with the value of industries in 2017 reached more than 300 billion or 4% of the country's gross domestic product or the GDP. Yung 4% din ay napakalaking ambag na yan sa ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. Okay? So, that's why yung ano ngayon eh, pag na-observe niyo yung mga nagbebenta ng pyesa, ano eh, parang after a year, 2 years, or 3 years, ang yaman agad nila. Kasi, napakalaking industriya ng sasakyan. Ha? Hindi lang kotse ha. Ang sinasabi ko dito, sasakyan. Okay? Philippine vehicles market was unable to recover. Ayan, status of automotive industry. Unable to recover effectively in the September after plummeting in August. Indeed, 26,699 units were sold in September and leading year-to-date sales. Market trends in September, last year to. September in the Philippines, vehicle market recovered only partially after plummeting by 37.3 the previous month. Indeed, September 26,699 units were sold. Brand-wise, the leader, Toyota, reported a loss of 21.1%. Napakalaki nun. So, imaginein mo may baon kang 100, tas nawala dun 20. Kaso nga lang yung pangkain mo ₱80 eh, tas pamasahe mo 20 no. Ayan, parang nawala ng pambaon dun. While Isuzu registered the worst performance with a 79.8 drop in sales. Kasi medyo mahirap ang industries ng Isuzu eh. Kasi 'di ba sabi ko naman sa inyo, focus ang Isuzu sa medyo sa heavy trucks or heavy industries. The only brands in the leaderboard that did not report losses were Mitsubishi and Hyundai, gaining 8.3% and 16.5% respectively. Then, post-market trend. Expectation for 2020 were not positive and with a negative outlook. And the rest will follow. So, syempre, lahat naman nalugi ng pandemic eh. It includes the automotive industries. So, medium-term market trend. The Philippine vehicle market in the last decade boomed, resulting in one of the top three fastest growing markets in the world. Recently, the total vehicle sales grew up from 170,827 2012, and with the recent dates or the statistics in 2017 of 483,734. And then uh, the rest are follows, booming and increasing, syempre konti lang, in the 2018 and then 2019. So are we familiar with the train law of Duterte? Ayun. So it also affects. Okay? Next one. I will leave you this question. What is the first mass transport vehicle in the Philippines? And what is the brand of it? Okay? So, and also existing pa ba siya ngayon? Hanggang ngayon? Ayan, yung sinasakyan araw-araw. Next one, we have what we call as the concept of automotive engineering. Automotive engineering along with the aerospace engineering and naval architecture. Ayan, baka sa inyo kasi ang mechanical engineering, pagka-graduate ninyo, pag nakapag-take kayo ng board exam, hindi lang naman focus ang ano eh, ang kotse, ang sasakyan. Siyempre malaki ang market sa sasakyan. Pero you can also explore other fields. Ito nga, sabi ko sa inyo, aerospace engineering. Somehow kasi pwede kayong mag-shift ng konting electronics tapos pwede na kayong maging ano eh, aircraft engineer eh. Tapos eto, medyo mas related yung sa mga barko. Kasi most of its operation pa rin sa mga barko ay merong internal combustion engine. That's why kung makikita niyo ang piston ng sasakyan ganito lang kaliit. Pero pag yung piston na nung isang barko kasi laki na ng isang room. Incorporating elements of the design, manufacture, and operations of motorcycles, automobiles, and trucks and their respective engineering subsystems. It also includes modification of the vehicles and manufacturing domain deals with the creation and assembling the whole parts of automobiles is also included in it. The automotive engineering field is a research intensive. So that's why ngayon pa lang inuumpisa ko na kayo mag-research eh. Kaya sabi ko sa inyo, 'di ba? Ang main project natin at nag-iisang project on our subject is a research, prototype, and also a presentation. It involves direct applications of mathematical models and formulas because the concept of automotive engineering is a lot of mathematical computation. And then that mathematical computation translate into car and then translate into safety and it saves human life. Okay? See the relation? The study of automotive engineering is to design, develop, fabricate, and test. Ito yung mahalaga dyan yung final testing. Okay? O yung sinasabi nating quality assurance sa mga companies. From the concept stage to production stage. Production, the development, and manufacturing are the three major functions in the field. Next one, automobile engineering. Ito, is a branch of engineering which teaches manufacturing, designing, and mechanical mechanisms. So automotive engineering, they are focusing on the parts itself. But on the automobile engineering, focusing sila sa manufacturing, designing, and mechanical mechanisms as well as operations of automobiles. So ibig sabihin, automotive engineering, they design the cars. Okay? They study, research intensively ang isang kotse or specific parts. Dito naman sa automobile engineering, they are focusing on the fabrication. In short, nasa factory sila. Okay? It is an introduction to vehicle engineering which deals with motorcycles and so on. It includes branch study of mechanical, electronics, software, and safety elements. So, somehow kasi kapag nakagraduate kayo in mechanical engineering, pwede kayong maging software engineer focusing on automotives. Okay? See the relations. Ayan. So, yung mga some of the future jobs na pwede nyo mapuntahan eh. Kasi ngayon, ang software ay napaka-importante sa isang sasakyan. Especially yung mga lahat na may computer box or may mga OBD. Are we familiar with the OBD? Some of engineering attributes and disciplines that are of importance to the automotive engineer and many of the other aspects are included in it. Siyempre, number one, top priority is the safety. That's why may mga safety engineers talaga in automotive industries. Next one, fuel economy and emissions. Lagi yan nagko-corresponds because of the concepts of internal combustion system. And we have the NVH or in other term, it called as NVAC. Ayan, if familiar kayo or if naririnig-rinig ninyo. Pag medyo napadako kayo sa mga sa mga talyer, sa kasa, sa mga automotive services, rinig nyo yan, noise, vibration, and harshness. So that's why suspension system is very vital. Kasi pag ma-observe nyo, ang suspension system ng BIOS versus Hilux ay magkaiba kasi it corresponds to their loads. And also, kapag medyo nakasakay kayo ng Hilux, kayo yung nagda-drive nun, parang parang daw parang ang tagtag ng Hilux. Tapos yung sedan, parang chill ka lang, Yan, yung Vios, yung mga SUV, mga Avanza, ganun. Ayan, yung Fortuner. Pero pag dumating ka sa pickup trucks na kotse, parang tagtag. Pero pag nilagyan mo na ng mga loads yan, parang ang chill i-ride. Kasi yung suspension niya nagpe-play na. Next one, we have the vehicle electronics and also the performance, of course, in overall. Shift quality on how smooth ba yung gearing niya, nag-work ba yun ng maayos yung clutch, assembly. Next one, durability and corrosion engineering. This is also important. It corresponds to the longevity of the vehicle. Next one, drivability. So that's why, 'di ba, ang mga kotse na-adjust ang upuan, na-adjust yung steering wheel, taas, baba, paikot, pati it also talks about the comfort. Next, cost and program timing. Baka kasi mamaya, lalabas ka ng kotse pero hindi akma sa panahong ito. Ito yung sinasabi natin na pinagtagpo pero hindi tinadhana ng mga konsepto wherein pinagtagpo, naging hype on that specific market pero hindi siya tinadhana tumagal. Or hindi siya nag-boom talaga ng mga after sales niya, hindi pinabayaan na ng manufacturers and so on. That's why may mga ma-observe kayong mga specific models na sobrang ganda. Tapos bakit nawala? Yun yung tanong, no? Assembly feasibility, ibig sabihin, ang mga company kasi or mga planta, dinesign sila to execute this specific process. So therefore, kapag gumawa ba tayo ng bagong model, magfi-fit ba yung pag-produce niya sa planta na meron tayo ngayon? O kailangan pa ba natin mag-invest ng panibagong equipment para ma-produce 'to? So, yun, pinag-uusapan yun do'n. Kasi ng, um, kung kailangan mag-produce ng panibagong machinery to produce this specific kind of parts or to produce this specific model, medyo malaki-laking investment yan. Okay? So that's why, on the Toyota side, ito yung medyo bago ngayon. Are we familiar with the Tamaraw? Toyota Tamaraw. Hindi, Toyota EPU. Toyota Tamaraw. 'Di ba ang Tamaraw, o medyo upgraded pa nga yung mga Tamaraw FX eh. Yun yung mga dati, parang mga 90s yata yun or 2000s. So, medyo binubuhay siya ngayon ng Toyota. So, hindi pa napoproduce, pero on, ano na, for delivery na sa market. So, ngayon, ang nangyari kasi dyan, yung Toyota, they invested a lot. Not just for producing it, but also investing on the manufacturing sides. Ibig sabihin, kailangan nila mag-invest ng mga panibagong molde, panibagong chassis as framework para makapag-produce ng ganitong chassis, specific tuning ng makina, and so on. So, not just on the raw materials, but also you need to invest on the manufacturing sides and also for the technicalities such as the professional works or skills of your workers. And then last one is the quality management. So for this question, I will going to ask you this one and you need to answer the difference between mechanical and automobile engineering on our face-to-face classes. Next one, so we have the automotive engineering. Automotive engineers research, design, and develop vehicles and their subsystems. So that's why talaga ang sa field natin dito, napaka-importante ng ng research. So that's why ang research na hinihintay ko sa inyo is more on economy. Economy na magbe-benefit siya in terms of productions. Let's say, for example, gagawa kayo ng mechanical arm. Yung mechanical arm na yon magpapabilis sa pag install ng rims sa gulong to its, sorry, piyok, to its steering. Okay? So, yan, parang ganun. It helps to give a faster time. So, therefore, makapag-produce ng mas marami and also, therefore, bababa yung production cost. Okay, see the relation. Automotive engineering degree. An automotive engineering degree or sometimes called as automotive mechanical engineering degree or most commonly mechanical engineers is a highly specialized degree that teaches many of the same concept as mechanical engineering but focuses specifically on the automotive application. Ibig sabihin, specific talaga sila sa kotse at sasakyan. Kasi pag sinabi na kasi nating mechanical engineers, sa lahat talaga ng lahat ng makina. So, let's say for example, makina sa factory, makina ng mga traktora. So, lahat yan, sakop ng ng mechanical engineer. Pero kapag isa kang automotive mechanical engineer, so specializes ka sa sasakyan. Which you need to study topics such as powertrain, chassis design, electronic components, of course, aerodynamics that affect fuel economy, and safety components. This is highly specialized degree is intended to prepare students for the specific needs of the automotive industry and help them be better prepared to begin work in their specialized field. The automotive engineering major is a highly specialized degree that is only offered by select schools, so it may be difficult to find a university that offers this degree. Kasi most of the degrees offered that is related in vehicle is a mechanical engineer. Kaso nga lang, General pa kasi mechanical engineer. Lahat nga ng makina pag-uusapan niyo diyan. At napakaraming physics. Ayan, yun yung kalaban niyo diyan. Napakaraming physics, okay? Especially thermodynamics. Most automotive engineering degrees are actually offered as master's program. Kasi parang ano yun parang ang track mo, ah, ang undergraduate mo or bachelor's is a mechanical engineer. Kung gusto mo mag-specialize in automotive talaga, titi ka na ng automotive mechanical engineering degree or Masters of Science in Automotive Mechanical Engineering. And then, pwede mo maging PhD, kayo na bahala. Kapag medyo nasa management kayo, pwede kayo kumuha ng mechanical management and so on. Pero kung specializes talaga, tapos somehow align kayo sa research, yan, pwede kayo mag Doctor of Philosophy in Mechanical Engineering. Okay, see? What do automotive engineers do? So they design, they troubleshoot, solve engineering problems, and manufacturing. So lagi naka-emphasize dito no, research, designing, developing, and producing vehicles and components, preparing cost estimates, plans and drawings, analyze the energy and environmental and safety aspects of the planned project. So this is very vital on the part of automotive engineering. Develop and testing procedures, investigating product failures for being proactive kasi lahat sa plano makikita mo na eh. And ang kagandahan naman ngayon on our present times, we have a lot of software to use to analyze in simulation. So, nandiyan na yung MATLAB, yung different Adobe products, and so on. Working closely with other types of engineers such as civil, electrical, aerospace, chemical, and industrial. Ayan. Sa isang automotive ah, industries, lahat yung kasama ninyo. Ayan. So, I will going to give you ample time to answer for that one. Bakit kasama nila si civil, electrical, aerospace, chemical, industrial engineers? Okay? So, I will going to wait for your answer on our resume of classes. Working professionals from other occupational fields such as marketing and also legal. Marketing, syempre, gumawa ka ng kotse, ang intended mo nun, maibenta. So, ngayon, ang marketing segment na ang bahala kung paano nila i-market itong sasakyan na to. So, that's why sales, advertisements, and marketing in general is a very huge industry in automotive industry. Kasi parang parang isang big factors dun eh. Kasi sila na bahala paano nila mapapaengganyo ibenta. And syempre, in corresponds to the quality of the product. Baka kasi mamaya, ganda-ganda ng ganda-ganda ng marketing. Tapos ng paggamit mo, ay, parang na-scam tayo dito. Parang naloko tayo. And it will going to backfire on the company. Okay? Legal kasi it investigates is it comply to the environmental laws or kaya naman yung mga specific parts niya ba and components ay aligned to the standards and acts of the let's say for example the Philippines align ba siya sa mga standards ng LTO na dapat may headlight, na dapat ang headlight niya ay may low beam at high beam, may signal light ba yan, may tail light ba yan, may plate light, at napakarami pang iba. Okay? So, yun yung mga legal aspects na pinag-uusapan naman doon. Qualification. Any pre-engineering student should have a strong background in advanced calculus, physics, and chemistry to succeed at the collegiate level. So, that's why, kung gusto niyo talaga mag-pursue sa mechanical engineering, pakiseryoso yung math. Ayan, because math saves lives. Okay? Kasi, continuous flow yan eh. Pag maganda yung foundation nyo sa mathematics, it applies as a language in physics. And also, in corresponds with that, you need to understand the chemistry of these materials, of these of these elements and for you to have a good and best foundation in this type of engineering course. Good grades and high level of hands-on experience at the undergraduate level are important. So that's why I requested an engine. Kahit motorcycle engines lang yun is makikita na natin doon yung ano um, concept kung paano gumagana ang makina. And also, how different electronics is involved on the car itself. In addition to academic qualification, the automotive engineer should have an avid interest in motor vehicle engineering, solid analytical skills, and creative approach to problem solving. So that's why one of the main skills na magsasurvive sa inyo on this 21st century is your ability to solve problems. Being creative, being imaginative, and a great, problem solver. Kasi it is, on this field, basta engineering, napakaraming problema. So therefore, you need to have a good foundation in mathematics. So that's why yung pagsasolve nyo ng math, ang importance nyon is yung skills nyo on how you will going to solve a problem. Ano nangyari?